Hello and welcome to episode 42 of the Smash Ultimate Mod Workshop. This video is part 3 of status scripts, and in this episode I'll be going over these GOTO lines that you might have come across while translating status scripts. While you can do what I'm about to do easily with the fighter frame, for the sake of learning, I'll be making it so Zero Suit Samus will automatically cancel down B with a wall jump if she touches a wall. As per usual status script episode, I'll be doing this with no script whatsoever, so let's get straight into it. I'm actually just going to try copy-pasting the special low flip status from CSK's repo, although I would not recommend doing this yourself, as the repo isn't really meant for that. I'm just doing it because I know I can get away with it for this specific script. So we'll need to port the main loop status, but because we're porting main loop, we also need to port main, so I'm going to copy these into Notepad. So with CSK's script dump, this should usually be tilde L2C value. So usually what I do is just search the file for tildes, mark all, and then just clear all lines with the tilde. But if you're copying from the dump, then you need to copy underscore L2C value, search the file for that, and then mark all, and then just remove all lines. I have, let's see if I can find it here, preferences. I have a shortcut to do that. Yeah, I can't remember how to set shortcuts, but I have remove all bookmarked lines shortcutted to Control-Shift-A, and it's just really handy for that. I'll demonstrate with this file too, actually. Oh yeah, there's the line. Mark all, and then go to search, bookmark. You can see remove bookmark lines is Control-Shift-A. It doesn't usually have a shortcut, so I've just set that manually. Either way, this file has the lab and GOTO functions. This one doesn't. I'm just gonna do this one real quick. It's been a while since I've actually done this sort of thing. I'm just gonna special low flip main, just so I know exactly what I'm working with here. And then actually I'll put that on this file as well. Oh, I'm gonna do some more tricks real quick. I'm gonna replace this arrow module accessor with fighter.module accessor, and then replace all. I'm gonna remove this whole thing. So the 2CPP, whatever, that whole line, just replace all with nothing. And then, oh wait, no, we need that one, never mind. We're gonna do that for app : lua bind : I'm also gonna replace any instance of double underscores with double colons. And I believe there's one more thing that I usually do. If I remember it, I'll do it. But that should hopefully just make editing... Oh yeah, it's removing underscore impl. But yeah, that should hopefully make editing a little faster. Let's see. hvar4 is that, fr5 0.0, fr6 1.0, and this bool is false. This line is going to work fine like it is, but I'm just going to make it look a little prettier. That's episode 44 that I actually used the function. So I guess I might as well just explain this function right now. Firstly, I'm just going to figure out what that is. Special air low flip. Okay. So I think I've already scripted and recorded episode 44, but I'll explain this now anyway. This is the change motion function. It takes a BOMA, the name of the animation to change to. So this is the frame that the animation starts on. Usually it's just set to 0.0. There's also a change motion inherit frame, which is good for if you want to change from an aerial to a grounded version of a move. You would use that instead of just change motion. This one is the speed, higher being faster, so 2.0 would be 2 times speed, 0.5 would be half speed. and 1's of course normal. And then this we don't really touch. It's somewhat related to looping. And then this is like sort of the frame that hitboxes start on. And then these are just unused. I go over that whole function in much more detail in episode 44, so just watch that if you want to know exactly how to use this. And then we can get rid of all that. So this is the first line of the function. When you see something like this, I probably covered this in the last data script episode, but I don't remember. It points to the last AL stack. So this would be set situation fighter, and then situation kind air, probably dot into at the end. Oh, I remember. I think this is like fighter dot set situation. I'm gonna check real quick. Just gonna copy this, go to GitHub, and just search for fighter dot set situation. And yeah, I did it exactly right. Let's go. Then the script runs ground module correct, which is just, it's sort of a way of, when you set situation to either air or ground, you also need to do ground module correct, just like to make 100% sure that it works properly. And I believe you need some special way of putting that in there, so I'm also just gonna, yeah, it's ground correct kind. And then I think I see what all these are gonna be. We can get rid of all these lines. Mark all, move, because this is just gonna go directly into this function. Actually, I'm gonna replace work module with /n. I wonder if that works like that. Yeah, it does. Okay. /n, and then /t for tab. And then let's just replace double spaces with tabs as well, just so it's indented properly. And actually, let's kind of did that in the wrong order there. So we'll do that, and then it's this line that we need to place a new line before. There we go. Okay. And then we can just fill in all these. This probably has an asterisk in front of it. I probably covered this in the last one, but underscores you'll change to, or like just the first underscore. If something starts with an underscore, replace with an asterisk. I know it's not telling me to here, but I'm just gonna do it, and then if I get an error, I'll fix it later. Usually if something doesn't have an underscore, then that means like you'll need to do something special like what I did with ground correct kind here. But whatever, we'll figure it out when we have to actually build the plugin. Usually it's just an asterisk, so. And then we need to do subshift status main. I'm just going to, of course, search GitHub just so I have an example of it. There we go. And then we just replace it with special low flip main loop. But of course, we're going to define this function in a little bit. So S0 suit special low flip main loop. And then that's all of the main function. And now we can actually work on the interesting stuff. The main loop with all of the lab and GOTO stuff. It's only like 70 lines-ish. Shouldn't be that difficult. Let's do all the stuff we did. We'll replace double spaces with tabs. App Lua bind. we'll get rid of, and we'll also get rid of impl. Pretty sure that stands for implicit, but whatever. This arrow module accessor we'll replace with fighter.module accessor. Ooh, we can do it with this global table as well. Usually I don't ever have to do that. Okay, and then I know I'm forgetting to do something. I mean, I don't see anything right away, so I'll forget it for now. Let's work up to this if statement. So, oh right, double underscore. Replace with colons. Then, let's see. No, I'm pretty sure that's it. So, if is cancel, we compare it with true, and then we compare it with false. So, if not, cancel module is enable cancel. That's that much done. I'm just gonna replace lab right now with, or oops, with that, just so we comment out all the lines that use it. We'll throw this there just so we remember that it's there. And then working on this now. Motion module is end. Compare it with true so nothing happens. Cast the bool and compare with false. So if we're not at the end of the motion either, then if fighter dot global table O cross 16, which, if I remember correctly, O cross 16 is a situation kind. So we go to the global table list. O cross 16 is situation kind. I'm going to put that at the top of the file here. And then we can just replace 16 with situation kind, just to make it a little bit less confusing. So if situation kind equals situation kind ground, right? Yeah, it's equals, not like not equals or anything. If we're currently on the ground, when special flip main loop whatever is running, then we'll do fighter dot change status, fighter status kind landing, dot into, because this O cross BO would be pointing to this, and O cross AO pointing to this, so false is the other argument. False dot into. Let's also replace this part of the code with GOTO, just so we comment out this whole line and not like half the line. Once I'm done with translating all this, I'll like actually go over what all these mean. Ooh, this one's interesting. I'm gonna take this real quick. plvar4 is fighter.global table O cross 8, which is stop. And then this means we're checking this with false, which kind of inverts it. So we can also just set this to not is stop. And then we're comparing it with 0, so we actually just flip it again. So this whole bit would just translate to if global table is stop. So what's happening here, CSK's script dump sort of messed up. So every time you see an operator in CSK's script dump, it'll look like this with a double underscore. And if you use Gidra, you won't get that. You'll get like operator double equals, or operator asterisk, operator minus. But in CSK's dump, everything is just going to be operator double underscore. I know with this script, all the double underscores are actually just operator double equals, which is just setting this value equal to this one, or maybe the other way around. It doesn't really matter that much for, yeah, it's setting this value to this, but it doesn't matter that much for this script in specific. So this whole bit kind of confusing. It's just setting uvar3 equal to 0 equals 0, which is just true. And then we compare true to 0, and 0 is a falsy value for false, of course. So this code doesn't actually ever run. I'm just going to keep it here just in case. And then when you see an if statement like this with no open curly brace, it just means that this is the only line that runs. So we can replace it with that just to make it a little less confusing. This is like some quirk with return values in scripts where it'll just randomly set like ivar5 equal to 0 at the very end of a script, and you just won't really have a use for it ever, because like you'll set 80 to it, then 80 just gets reset pretty much immediately. You set this value to it, then that gets like reset, and it doesn't really matter. You can just like get rid of this line, or we're up here, just get rid of that. And then I'm gonna fix the else statements real quick, just so they look a little bit better. Next up, I think this is all doing the exact same thing. Or maybe not, because this is true. And then we're comparing it with true. So this code actually always runs. Guess we can replace this with just if false. And then yeah, we're not gonna ever need this line. If you look, this PLVAR4 isn't like getting used anywhere else in the script, so we can remove those lines. We have another fighter.changeStatus. This time it's false and with fall. And subweight ground check common. Did we use it here? No. Okay, I'm just gonna copy an example from GitHub. So this is the line that we copied. I'm gonna assume it's just correct, because you see there's two falses. There's like setting this equal to that, and those are both false. And sometimes with script editing, you just have to assume that something works in one way or another, and I guess that's what I'm just gonna do here. So I mean, it is subweight ground check common with false in here, so I'm gonna hope that's what it meant to do. Sometimes the decompiler just doesn't really do it correctly. Sub air check fall common, I think pretty similar. Yeah, here. Yeah, okay, so we'll take this, put that in the if statement, and then that GOTO line is in this if statement but outside of this one. And then this one is just return 0.into. And wow, that script is, what, only like 30 lines long? Significantly better than what it was. But what we need to do now is figure out what's up with all these lab and GOTO lines. So lab is just like defining a spot in the code. So where you see the colon, this like lab function just refers to all of this code, I believe, in this instance. This doesn't actually refer to any code. A lot of times you just have to make assumptions, as I said, especially with what we're doing right now. Like, with this whole global table is stop. This lab is this piece of code right here. And then this GOTO line is saying go back to this piece of code. So we can really just replace this with that if false statement, which doesn't really do anything for us, since we know that none of this code now is ever really gonna run. And yeah, this was the thing inside of the if false was just one of the lines we deleted because it wasn't doing anything. So I'm just gonna get rid of all of that real quick. So this is also not anything. So we're not really going to anything here. This is going to the very end, so we can copy this and replace that. Also get rid of that. And now all that's left is this GOTO function, which is referring to this lab, which is all of that, which we can just put right there. It's a little hard to just like read glancing at it, but all this code should make sense. Saying if we're not able to cancel the move, and if we're not at the end of the motion, and we're touching the ground, then transition into the landing script. However, if we are at the end of the motion, we'll just go into fall. But if we can cancel, it checks some ground and air stuff, which is a little abstract, so it's a little bit hard to explain what it does. So if we can cancel, it just checks some other stuff before running all this code right there. So hopefully this should all be just ZSS's special low flip script working just as it does in vanilla. We'll make some edits to it after we add it to our mod.rs. I don't exactly remember how to define a status script, so I'm just going to copy my code from episode 30. So this is main, and this is main loop. We'll paste them both in there, get rid of all that, and all that. And then we can replace this with, instead of Ridley, S0 suit. We can replace the name of this function with the proper name. Do it for that function too. And we can define main down here. And then we're not editing fighter status kind special high. We are editing special low flip. So fighter S0 suit status special low flip. I'm going to make 100% that this is correct. So let's go to the Lua console file. And something's wrong about it. Status kind special low flip. Glad to see I checked that, because if it didn't work because I spelled that wrong, I would be very upset. Then we can take the main and move it to here. We can get rid of this file and copy all this as well. And then these public constants don't go in this file. They actually just go at the top. And we can get rid of that as well. And the last thing we need to do is actually just do the edit that I said I was going to do at the beginning of the episode. We need to take the surprise tool and paste it really just anywhere kind of in the main loop function. The end should be fine. Or actually, to make sure that this code runs, I'm going to put it at the beginning. So it's just saying, if we're touching a wall, change into the wall jump status. And we can replace this BOMA with fighter.module_accessor. Then we can just get rid of all that. And we didn't actually use isStop, so I'm just going to get rid of this public constant. And now I'm going to build it. So we'll just open into CMD, cargo, skyline, build, release. Cargo skyline. I don't think I've ever misspelled skyline before. That's a new one. And we're probably going to get... Oh, we didn't get an error! I was very certain that we would have done something wrong. But I guess because we like did the ground correct kind and like the #40 function right away instead of later. Okay, so let's test this in Smash and see if it works. Okay, so I thought at first that this wasn't working because, like, obviously it's not doing anything. That was just me wall jumping for real. But when you do down B, nothing happens. Until I realized that we just edited the wrong status. I mean, like, we edited it... Oh my god, if I could hit Ridley here. We edited the status correctly. We can wall jump out of that status. The one after we've... So, if I go into zoom and one frame mode here, this status right here, for after we've like footstooled someone with the move, this status that we're currently in will automatically wall jump out. Which is kind of funny that we just did the wrong one, but I mean, like, it works. We did it. I taught what I wanted to teach, and all the code I wrote will be available in item 1 of the description. I hope this helped, and happy modding!